continuing our build-up to the 2026 World Cup by highlighting the Serie A players who are set to make waves this summer. So midfielder Manu Koné has grown into one of Roma's most important players since he joined in 2024, so much so that he's earned a role on the French national team. Marco, do you like the sound of him coming to the World Cup this summer?
Oh, I love Manu Koné. I think he's one of, if not the best player that Roma have on their team. In the midfield, he could do it all. If he starts scoring goals, which he just scored recently, if he starts scoring goals, he becomes one of the most complete midfielder that we have in all of world football. And for the French national team, if you check some of their recent games, their World Cup qualification, and even before then the Euros, he's been playing a lot. He's been consistently getting 90 minutes in some of these matches. The French national team is probably the best roster in the world. They could field a third team that's better than the Italian team that we have, because just the level of depth of talent. So it'll be difficult for him to get in, but I wouldn't bet against it. I think he's a really talented player.
Yeah, the only difference is that if he was playing for any other nation, he'd be the starter. He'd probably be the best player in the midfield. He's got the Real Madrid duo in front of him, Camavinga and Tchouaméni. I mean, if they're playing with two holding midfielders, it's hard to get him in consistently. But just the fact, as Marco said, that he is getting more games, people are starting to realize just how good this guy is. He was in the Bundesliga before. I think that's one of the great signings that Roma have made, because he is a tuttocampista, as they say in Italy. He can do every role in the midfield. Yeah, maybe he can add a few goals, but he's often starting from a deeper position. He gives him so much physicality, energy. He can carry the ball forward. He can play a pass. He's a brilliant player.
Marco mentioned how stacked that French midfield is. What does he need to do to get into that midfield for the World Cup?
I don't know. I know the midfield stack. We're going to take a look at it, right? I mean, you can read the names yourself, right? There's some really good number 8s in there, some really good midfielders in there. Is he as good as some of these guys? Yeah. I would say he is. I wouldn't say that there's a big difference. I mean, you could split hairs with characteristics. That's how good he is, in case you haven't watched him enough. He's a really fantastic player, that well-rounded, like Matteo says, tuttocampista. I think that you have to pick players based on form, which is the most important leading into the World Cup, based on health, and based on the relationships of the players you're going to have in front of you and on the sides of you. That's going to be the difference. I don't think that that he's any better or worse than any of those midfielders. So you're going to have to look at that team and say, who's the hottest hand right now? Who's the fittest right now? Who's played the most football coming into the World Cup? And you'll see when you watch a training session who likes to play with who. Whoever likes to play with Mbappe and the guys that are non-negotiable, those are the midfielders that you have. Whoever benefits those guys' games, those are the midfielders you have to pick.
And whoever Mbappe kind of chooses.
And it could be
Giroud. Remember how much Mbappe liked playing with Giroud, because Giroud would facilitate things for him. As Mike says, these generational stars often have a say. Messi brought a lot of his friends to the Argentina World Cup. He knew who he wanted to play. And what manager is going to tell Mbappe or Messi, no, he's not going to play?
The team normally picks itself, and you can see it as a manager. You just have to get out of the way and let it pick itself. Right? And you'll see who's Mbappe got the best relationships with in training, both on the field, off the field, all those little things. But he's as good as anyone on that list, I think, is the important message.
It's a perfect way of explaining it right there. And I think when I look at the list, it actually looks a lot closer than I was thinking, right? Some of the names, Guendouzi was there, Kefren Turan, Rabiot, players that we watch week in and week out. I have him right there. And I don't think the Roma team that he has right now, with the defensive structure that Gasperini is making them play with, it doesn't even highlight some of his best attributes. So he could become, if you put really great players around him, we might not have even seen the best of Manu Koné yet.
And he plays with Cristante in the midfield. So most weekends he's playing by himself in the midfield anyway, which is not easy.
Nicer
not
way.
easy to do it.